Alright guys, welcome back to another market recap. Today is June 12th, 2025. Today is Thursday, and I'm really going to be working on making these more consistently every day because even if they provide value to one person, in my opinion, that is worth making them because I would have absolutely loved to have these when I was very first starting trading. So, anyway, guys, today, in my opinion, some other people saw some things, but in my opinion, today needed to be a no trade day, especially if you were trading in the AM session. And the reason I say this is because look at price action all through here. So this is the market open, 9:30. This is when news came out. So we had PPI news data come out this morning. That was this giant wick here. And a lot of people were actually saying that we could go back to the data wick, right? And I was actually open-minded to that as well. Let's see an example of someone saying that. So here we have Camel, who it looks like, he had this in mind, where we had the equal lows and the data low. So if you don't know what that is, right, when we have news come out at 8:30, that's going to leaves this giant wick here. And this wick is a data wick. So yeah, it's the wick or the higher the low of a news event, right? So if I go over to Forex Factory, you can see that this 830 core PPI marks this low. So this was the wick of PPI. So normally this is a really nice draw on liquidity, and meaning the market will like to come back to it, and especially because this was equal lows with London's low. But here's the thing about these nice draws on liquidity is it doesn't mean the market's not going to go back to the draw on liquidity if it's expanding away and it doesn't show its hand that it's ready to go back. So all throughout here, I was open-minded to us really obviously changing, having a really obvious change to the delivery and going lower. But you can see order flow throughout all of this is bullish, right? We're expanding to the upside. And so just from the 2022 model's perspective, right, we sweep out this low, and this is a really obvious break of structure right here, right? We close above this old high. So liquidity sweep, break of structure. And now since market open happened, we are expanding we're trending, right? The market has officially started trending. That's what the 2022 model is, by the way. It's basically like once the market gets aggressive displacement and that fair value gap gets made, that fair value gap is going to be very strong. And you can see that's the fair value gap that gets created right here. And we expand up to go take out these low resistance highs. So liquidity sweep, break structure, 2022 gap, and we go up to go run those low resistance highs here. Now, a lot of people took a trade in here after all this price action. Once again, in my opinion, there's no real opportunity in here. This is not something that I would want to be risking my money on my funded accounts on. This isn't good price action for me to want to risk my actual funded accounts on. But I'm going to go over something funny because I think it's kind of funny. You guys may or may not have seen this, but TJR went live, right? Apparently he risks his entire, I don't know what he's talking about, but I think this is so funny, guys. This is so funny. So he takes 2 losses. And I guess for some reason, maybe he risked more on the last one, and it was also way higher risk to reward. And so he made a ton of money even though he lost 2 and won 1. This is so funny. Check this out. So He's in this first one. Keep in mind, I don't even know why he's in this. I don't know what his entry was. And I'm getting an ad. And so anyway, this ends up hitting stop loss. And then this next trade, and you see him shaking his head. So he basically he has two trades that hit stop loss. And then he has this trade, which, to be fair, if there was a trade of the day, this would have been it. And if I go over, you can see actually, like, I respect this trader a lot. This guy's Trader Diego. Trader Diego took this. And the reason this, in my opinion, if there was a trade for the day, this would probably be it, is because, one, we're delivering from a fair value gap. Two, SMT. Three, we inverse, and you can get really good risk to reward on these inversions with quick break even spots like this. And but keep in mind, the reason this is good, right? The reason this entire trade is good, and I will finish this video in just a second. The reason this is good is because of this trendline liquidity, right? You always have to frame the draw on liquidity first. Frame the reason for the inversion before the inversion. In this case, we had basically this trendline liquidity, right? You have these the trend line of highs ish, right? It's basically they're still low resistance highs. So I'm gonna mark this out with a box and drag it over. So we know the market's gonna want to come back here. Let me plug my laptop in. We know the market's gonna want to come back here. And so we get this 1 minute inversion. And it's like, it makes sense contextually because market's expanding higher and you can get really good risk reward on this with a quick break even spot. And that's probably why this worked, if I'm being honest. The reason this, even though price action sucked, the reason this worked is because it was good risk reward with a quick break even spot. And, you know, smart money knew that and they were willing to take that risk and then go break even with good risk reward. Smart money is all about probabilities, right? They took this knowing they could go break even here with good RR, and because look at this, you could put your stop loss here, and this is almost a 3-to-1. But once again, guys, I'm not the kind of guy who likes to trade this kind of price action. So once again, I didn't take this. Anyway, TJR takes this. It's so funny. Let's go back to that video. He's genuinely shocked because he just took these other two losses, and in the end of the video he's like, guys, I don't know if I should post this to YouTube, because he was like basically saying that he thought he was gonna get made fun of for his like first two trades or something. But man, I just think it's funny because there's no way he's having his risk management right. Like I don't know. I'm worried for him, man. He's probably gonna blow his account or something at some point. But you know what? That's okay. We're just here to review the market. So anyway, like I was saying, right? Not a lot of opportunity in here. We had a couple trades from Hydra. In my opinion, they didn't make a lot of sense. I would not personally take the trades that Hydra took. But we're going to take a look at the trades that Hydra took right now. Let me pull it up. It might take a second. Alright, so here's what he said. He said, all all calls on stream today turned out to be W. No losing trades so far this week. And yeah. Basically, he takes the fair value gap after 9:30. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. I personally just, I don't mess with this when there's just an obvious accumulation range. For me, didn't make sense. Here, dude, I don't know, man. I don't see the inversion. We inverse way too high. I don't see this, and I don't see this one either because where's the close above the breaker? So I'm not gonna lie, none of his trades really make sense. And yeah, it's not about, you have to realize, guys, trading is about the trades that you understand conceptually. You don't take trades that you don't understand, right? If someone else has a way of entering but you don't understand it, your job is to not take those ones that you don't understand. Take the simple trades that you do understand, and those are the ones you want to take. For me, nothing was obvious for me today. This was bad price action, and because of that, I'm sidelined. I'm doing nothing, and that's exactly how you need to be. Now, a couple other things to note. Higher time frame, right? We had this 4-hour for value gap, and part of the reason why we didn't go right back to the data low, in my opinion, and a lot of people were very upset we didn't go back to the data low, but part of the reason we didn't, in my opinion, is because we had this 4-hour for value gap, right? 4-hour for value gap. And then we get a 15-minute change state delivery off of it, right? Aligned time frame. And we're back testing this. We're holding this, right? And this is a very expansive candle off of news. We had displacement. So when you have displacement combined with the CISD and good, decent, low resistance liquidity, I mean, usually most of the time we're at least going to go there. And so honestly, you could have even taken this as a 1-to-1 trade if you had your entry here and you targeted like that. Boom. 15 minutes change state delivery, 4-hour for value gap with displacement. The thing about this is there was the data low, but pretty good chance we're going to go take out these low resistance highs here. So once again, 4-hour for value gap, liquidity sweep, and then aligned time frame change state delivery. So 15-minute change state delivery, and you could just target 1-to-1 off of that. So that's, in my opinion, why we started going up. And you can see we ended up rebalancing to this fair value gap in premium right here. And that's exactly where the market reacted. And yeah, I really do think the market just wanted to take out these highs here, because at the end of the day, there's still so much more liquidity lower here, and so the market wanted to go lower, but it needed to take out these guys first, and so that's exactly what happened. Now, let's see. What other things do I want to talk about? There might be just a couple more things. Okay, yeah, this is interesting. At 11 a.m., here you can see this was an interesting trade I spotted. I'm not saying I would have taken this, but we had a nice accumulation range, a 5-minute fair value gap, a sweep, and this was a 30-second change state delivery, so on the aligned time frame. And you can see we aggressively expand perfectly right to the 4 to 4.25. So if I map that out, here you can see that is, and you would just have to know that the market was still drawing higher. That's the main thing. So let's see where it was. And honestly, that we were pretty far in premium, so I would not have taken this. But I did note it, right? 5 minute for value gap. Like, this is not a trade I would take, but I'm just showing what I noticed, right? 5 minute for value gap and 30-second change state delivery. And you can see how this is accumulation, manipulation, distribution, right? Measuring out standard deviations. See how we perfectly go to the 4.4 to 4.25? Perfectly. I mean, this was very textbook. Even though it marked the very top, it was still very textbook. 5 minute for value gap, 30-second CSD, and then right up to that 4 to 4.25. So, I mean, once again, if you know what you're doing and you understand the bias, you can get some pretty high RR trades. A couple other things to note. You know, when we got this giant displacement candle, we did inverse these two gaps together. Theoretically, you could maybe take this, but it's not a realistic trade I would have taken. But just showing off that you could take it. Then as well, there's another flow state here. Once again, not something obvious, not something I would have taken, but just showing that when we got this SMT and change state delivery, we backtest it and we go perfectly to the first standard deviation and then also the second, right? Delivering from a 15-minute. I can't remember if this was a fair value gap 2 or not, but it was for sure a 15-minute breaker. And yeah, and then this, yeah, we talked about this. But once again, guys, let's be real. Is today really worth our money? Do we really need to trade price action that looks like this? Or should we wait for higher probability days? In my opinion, it's just not worth it. Because if you don't see nothing that makes sense to you, then why are you trading? Genuinely. Like, what good reason is there to take a trade in price action that you do not understand? And so with that, I'm going to end the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I'll keep trying to do better to make these more consistent, one day at a time. Sorry I missed the last 2 days, but we're going to keep going. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.